Everyone. Whether you're tuning from YouTube or Facebook group, hey, so glad you're here. Type in where you're listening from. With our podcast, there's about 50 countries now, which is just extraordinary. And can you just leave a comment and let me know how you found out about us. Chris Hugh Champion from Brisbane. We've got a bloke from Brisbane. So if you can type in where you're listening from, either on YouTube or in the group, maybe you come from Instagram, it actually helps us reach more men. More men like you, more men like you and me. So, because that's the purpose of it, So this Thursday live is on the back of the Tuesday email. And Ben Brizzy, coming in from Germany, awesome, mate. Thanks for tuning in. So we've got men everywhere. It's great. So on the back of Tuesday's email. So if you're not getting that email, get your email to us so we can get you that email so you can get up to speed with what we're doing. And what it is, it's Cornermen's Conversations. Men, we're all in a fight. And if you've seen that email on Tuesday, we talked about me back in the 1999 in Edmonton, Canada, fighting for a Commonwealth title. And it was a tough night. Believe me, it was a tough night in the office. For me, it was years later that I seen it on YouTube and watched the fight. The fight looked nothing like it felt. Believe me. Oh man. So, but I want to say a special thank you to all the people from that email list, all the men that are emailing back, and some great emails. But man, you guys are encouraging me. I thank you for that. but that's awesome. But there was a couple of emails that really stood out. And one bloke by the name of Dave, from Australia, from the Gold Coast, and so I want to touch on a couple of things that he said later in this call, because I think it's what he said. I think a good portion of the men are actually going through. So wait till you hear to the end. And what I love is comment, encourage me, tell me if I'm on the mark, tell me if I'm missing the point. This is all about interaction, engagement. And I think about that email, what I wrote there, and what I went through in that fight. It was actually my first 12-rounder. It was my first 12-round fight, and I suppose I learned so much from that fight. And to be honest, I talked about in that email, talking about fighting a good fight, fighting a fight that I could be proud of, But if I'm rigorously honest, I could, there's probably 4 or 5 different learnings that I learned through that fight, because there was a faith element, there was a faith learning, there was a spiritual thing that happened that I couldn't even explain for quite a good while. Okay, there was a real learning around ego in that fight, and after it, and probably before it, there was a time, because that was a very interesting. I say interesting. There was a lot of transitions happening in that time in my life. Because it was only 4 years previous. Me and my wife, who was my girlfriend then, Michelle, we were getting food vouchers, and then all of a sudden, we had, I think, maybe 3 houses when I was in Canada. Like 4 years later, I had multiple houses, a business, like going from food vouchers to all of a sudden fighting overseas, and so there were so many learnings, and one thing that I was, and this is there was a time there shortly after that Commonwealth title fight, where I actually was, it was called, like, it was self-will and ego run riot. I remember thinking I was the man about town, right? And I remember being in a police chase, like insanity. But that's not the worst bit. The worst bit was I'm doing 150 kilometers down the highway. They're sitting behind me. The worst bit was I looked in the rear vision mirror, okay, and I didn't care. I actually didn't care. I thought, who do they think they are? Like, so there was a big ego learning that I was having. There was a big pride learning so I'm talking about, in this email, I'm talking about fighting a good fight, fighting a fight I can be proud of. So I could go off in all different directions, and maybe over the time I will, because I think we need to cover all those things. Matt Hess, you champion, all the way from WA. Awesome, mate. So I suppose, because with everything that we're doing, with all the men that are online now that I know, we're all in a fight. Okay, and probably the worst thing that I have seen with men over the years, a massive blind spot, I think, in men. They'll say, and this is like, I suppose, a symptom. Okay, a symptom is a man will say, "Oh, I'm a lover, not a fighter." Man, the worst thing is that when you're in a fight and you don't even know you're in the fight. You don't even know. There is all sorts of rubbish coming against your marriage, against your identity. There's all sorts of rubbish coming against your children, rubbish coming against your business. Man, if you don't think you're in a fight, if you think you're going to get through this by being a lover, man, you're going to get KO'd after KO'd, okay? And the result is you're going to blame everyone else for maybe not fighting fair. So that's a massive problem I think we're seeing over the last maybe 20 years, is all these people want to be lovers. And I'm being really, really honest here. I honestly don't believe you can actually be a decent lover if you've not developed that warrior, that strength in you. I mean, this is probably a whole nother learning we could go down. I don't know any woman who wants some undeveloped man. I don't know any woman that wants, when somebody comes banging at the door, the man of the house has got to go and answer it. You don't send your bloody wife because you're the lover. All right. So the biggest thing is, I think when it comes to it, we're going to understand what fight are you actually in. First you recognize you are in a fight, whether you provoked it, whether you are in a fight, okay? If you've got breath in your lungs, there's things that you're going to have to fight for. All right, so recognize, the first thing is recognize what fight are you actually in. And if you don't think you're in one, that's a massive blind spot, okay? So I think, and some of us are in a fight, for our business, to develop our business, to develop ourselves, to actually, bring value to the marketplace, okay? But then, and this could be something. People are saying to you, just look for the easy way. Just that's too hard. What if you don't make it? What if it fails? What if? And because you imagine you come back from a fight, you're in the corner, and your cornerman saying, "Oh, is everything okay? Oh, it looks like it's hard." You don't need a cornerman like that. You need a cornerman to say, "Man, it's time to step up. You're in a fight. There's more in you. Where do you need to develop?" So if you're in a fight, some of us could be in a fight for our business, okay? Some of us could have come gone through a business and it went bad. Okay, the fight could be coming back from bankruptcy. The fight could be regaining your credibility in the marketplace. The fight could be resurrecting your marriage, or maybe the marriage didn't work, so the fight is actually creating a massive comeback story for your children, for yourself, for the people you love. So I don't know what your fight is, all right? But that's really the first step when it comes to it. Man, understand what fight are you actually in? What fight are you actually in? Oh, Davey Andrews, you champion. John, you champion from Brisbane. Good man. Had a couple of fights with us. Good man. So gentlemen, first thing you got to understand is what fight you're in, okay? Because nothing worse than fighting the wrong fight. I mean, leave me a comment if you've been struggling with something, you realise it's not your concern. It's maybe none of your business. Leave me a comment if that has happened to you, because it's happened to me. How do you think I know this stuff? So the thing is, if you can get clarity on the fight that you're in and actually what you're actually fighting for, okay, you want to get clarity on that, because really the next question we need to ask ourselves, once we're in the right fight, you're developing a comeback story. It could be in a fight to fight for your purpose. It could be in a fight to develop yourself to actually go all in on your purpose. Maybe some of us have lacked courage. Maybe some of us have not had the right environment, the right men around us, the right people around us. So we're kind of lacking, maybe our identity has not been developed. So understand, what are you fighting for? Is it worth fighting for? If you're taking notes here today, the fight that you're in, actually, is it worth fighting for? Because, I've even recently, it happened again, right? And a new guy, and I said, well, what's worth your life? Because you're gonna give your life to something. What are you going to give your life to? Well, this gentleman says to me, oh man, I'm just happy to pay the bills. Well, that's a fight. I'm not saying don't pay your bills. I'm saying pay your bills. You know what I mean? But that your life is worth more than a bill, surely. Because, man, you're going to get bills. Bills are coming. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to, you get what you ask for. Everything's created twice. First in your mind. So if your fight is just to pay the bills, chances are you're just going to keep on getting more bills, and that is going to be your focus. Okay, absolutely pay your bills, but your life is worth more than paying bills. And I think when this is maybe something that, because I'm always about the solution. And one of the things that, Dave, and I don't know if you're on earlier, mate, I was talking about you, great email come in, and because this is what I want from this email going out on Tuesday. We do a live, on Thursday, and we talk about what we're talking about. Because, in that Commonwealth title fight, when I thought I'm done, I'm toast, it come to me, thought what I really want, forget the bells and whistles, but forget anything, what I really wanted was to just fight a fight that I could be proud of. That's what I really wanted. I wanted to fight. I didn't care about anyone else. I just wanted to measure up to my integrity, to my character, to the vision I had of myself, And I mean, that may come across self-centered, but when a push comes to shove, these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. What actually are you fighting for? And at that moment, man, I just wanted to fight I could be proud of. So I could go for the rest of my life knowing I did all I could. That's what I wanted. That's how I was able to sleep at night. And of course, if you go back, if you're jumping on late, go back and listen to the recording. And there was a lot of things. There was a lot of learnings in obviously in that fight. So So what happens is if you don't know what you're fighting for, and I love that email from Dave, because what Dave said is I think what a lot of men go through. If you don't know what you're fighting for, you're going to lack discipline, you're going to lack focus, you're going to lack motivation, you will run out of gas, you will run out of juice. You won't go the distance. And you know, I think for a lot of us, and this is if we're, you're taking down notes and this is resonating with you, like I said, it's all about action, the right action in the right direction. Okay, so this is an action that if you're realize you're fighting the wrong fight, maybe. You got that ladder and it should be against that wall, but it's against the wrong wall. Nothing worse than getting to the top of the ladder and realize, hang on, I don't want to be here, I want to be there. It happens, okay? So what I want you to do, an action, right? So one thing that I want you to do is to journal. What I would suggest, journal, and as you start journaling, okay, you'll start to actually see maybe you're fighting the wrong fight, or you need to be fighting more on this. You need to be spending more of your energy, your time, because some of us are putting our time, our energy into the wrong thing. Like I said, wrong wall, okay, wrong fight. So if your ladder's against the wrong wall, if you're fighting the wrong fight, you're going to reach a point where you're going to go, why bother, man? What's it worth? It's not going to change anything. Okay, so what I love to say, what I'm always saying, when we're journaling on a regular basis, because something happens to us when we actually get it out of our head, right, and get it on paper, and then actually start to read it back to ourselves. Because some of the stuff I've written down, I thought, what am I even worried about? Yeah, I'll never forget. It was in about one of the transitions. That Commonwealth title fight, what I talked about in that email, was in 99, right? Then about 2002, 2003, I was going through a transition in my head and, in family and everything, right? And I remember a mentor saying, mate, you got to write this stuff down, because literally I'd wake up every night between 1 and 3 a.m. and just think about stuff, negative stuff, okay? So I remember a mentor saying to me, write down everything that's going through your head. Just start to write it down. And I did that for maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing a year or so, maybe longer, maybe shorter, but around that. And I remember when we moved about 10 years later, I actually found that diary, because I love to keep all that stuff. You see at my desk, I'm everywhere, right? I love to keep that. And I found it 10 years later, and I started to go through it. And literally all the things that were keeping me, that were waking me up at night, nothing ever happened. Nothing, everything I was worried about, nothing ever happened. But the good things I wrote about, literally all those things that either happened or that I was in the process of achieving those things. So gentlemen, but what it did, and obviously what I'd love you men to do is to journal before you go to bed, because all the things, maybe it's the concerns, you put them to bed. Well, there's nothing I can do about that today. But your hopes, your dreams, remember, when the dream is big enough, man, the odds don't matter. But I think most of us, our dreams are too small. Maybe like that bloke I was talking about before, his dream is to pay the bills. I know what's coming down his pipeline, more bills. So men, what's the dream in you? And I suppose when it comes to it, this takes courage. This takes courage, particularly when you've been hurt. You blew it. You made the mistake. You blew it. You made the wrong decision. When we look at our dreams, what most of us do, we look at all our failings, our shortcomings, the times people let us down, we let ourselves down, etc., rather than focusing on the dream. So a suggestion, right? Before you go to bed, start to journal your hopes, your dreams. Maybe don't tell anyone, maybe tell someone, but just get it out. Remember, when the dream's big enough, man, the odds don't matter. Okay, so as you get a clearer vision, because this is clarity, this is about fighting a good fight. As you get clarity on what's actually worth fighting for, what's actually worth creating a comeback story for, that's when when you get up in the morning, motivation there next to your bed. Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going through hardship for. This is what I'm having the hard conversations for. This is what I'm getting up, going to training for. This is what I'm eating healthy for. This is what I'm doing it for. Okay, so you're going to get clarity on what you're actually, because hey, give me a thumbs up if when you wake up in the morning, before your eyes are even open, you think something negative. Be honest, because I tell you what, that is me. I'm constantly, they say the devil's waiting at the end of the bed saying, come on, wake up, let's go. I've got some rubbish I want to talk to you about. Yeah, if that's you, leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up, because it's me. So, men, when we wake up and we look at what we're actually fighting for, that will give us the discipline, that will give us the courage, that will motivate us to do what we've got to do, whatever it takes. And I suppose, so I know, Dave, great comment, mate. I hope that covers some of what you said to me in that email. Gentlemen, if that's helping you, leave me a comment, let me know, give me a thumbs up. But gentlemen, the biggest thing is get a bigger dream. If I could be your cornerman right now, I would say whatever you're thinking, think a little bigger. Put a little bit more courage, a little bit more heart. Have a look and see, maybe you can help some more people than what you already are, And I've got to tell you, man, I'm actually pretty fired up. I'm pretty excited for what's happening in the coming days and next week, because this is great. I think this is brilliant. One of the men, I've got a few men coming to Gozo, to here in Malta. A couple of men coming from Australia, from Europe, etc. And flying, some blokes are flying like 24, 26 hours to get here. But you know what I've found over the years, when men are hungry, I'll do whatever it takes, and like Daniel, literally only, we started talking, I've known him for a couple of months now, or maybe 2 months. And then all of a sudden this dream has been lit, this spark has been renewed. As I'm talking to Daniel about it, this dream's been in him for 16 years. And he's failed to do something about it. So he goes, man, what have I got to do? I said, well, there's a couple of things you can do. The best option would be a part of my inner circle. Come to Gozo, and we're going to spend 5 days working on what's holding you back and working on, man, creating that dream that's big enough that is worth your life. So he booked the ticket. I'm on the plane. I'm coming. They'll be here on the weekend. See, man, that takes courage to do that, to step out of your comfort zone, to step out into the unknown. Because I'm telling you, those dreams, those things are going to motivate you. Those things they're going to leave a massive legacy for the life you live. It's in the unknown. It's in the unknown. Because I think back to that email, that Commonwealth title fight, my first ever 12 rounder. I actually didn't even know what I was preparing for. And the first time I prepared for that, and the fight got postponed because I was ill, but I over-prepared. Second time, I was trying to not over-prepare, but I really didn't know what I was preparing for. So when it comes to your purpose, your mission, the dream that's in you, chances are you're not going to actually know what you're preparing for. You just got to do the next right thing, the next thing that's in front of you. And that's where we need each other. That's when we need a cornerman. That's when we need someone to say, hang on, keep your hands up, get under that punch, step back, move in. That's where we need That's where I've needed the cornerman to say, hang on, Gav, you need to have a rest now. You need to renew your strength. So gentlemen, hey, listen, I hope you got some value from that. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm just so enjoying getting the feedback from the emails, it's firing me up even more. So, gentlemen, leave me a great comment. Tell me something amazing. Let me know what you got out of this. And if you know someone who will benefit from it, get them to shoot me their email, and we'll get them involved in this. But all right, gentlemen, over and out.